All right. Good morning, everybody. How are you doing today? My name is Nicholas Ashbaugh, and we're going to be taking a look at the next 6 to 8 weeks, hopefully empowering you to make the best choices available to you. If you've never joined me before, this is your monthly reading where you can use it for your sun, your rising, as well as your moon sign. And what we like to do here is focus, like I said, on empowerment. This little furry guy here is Apollo, who just got up. I'm going to let him get back to sleep, and we're going to get started. Thanks, buddy. As you could see with the schedule here, I always like to begin with channeled messages at the very beginning. Channeled messages come from dreams, and wow, this morning things were pretty intense. The main focus that I was seeing was sort of this fluid motion that came through in the energy of the ocean or the sea, and also a council of elders came through. So there's this sort of generational or ancestral energy that you have a chance to break through. So some actually pretty deep messages, which we'll be getting into at the very beginning portion. After that, we're going to take a look at the Celtic Cross, and then, of course, always looking at areas of health, wealth, love, and destiny, which I know are very popular with all of you. The rest of this reading is very interactive. We'll have a big idea, a chance to vote on some topics. If you do have any questions, save it till the end, because I always offer a chance for you to meditate on a single question that really you want to make an impact on this month, and we'll work on that together. So we'll go through the rest of this as we get into the reading. Again, my name is Nicholas Ashbaugh. Welcome. If you would like to be informed of my schedule this month, I highly encourage you to hit the subscribe button, because I'm in the process of trying to find a place and move, and probably will only be putting 2 to 3 dates in advance because my schedule, times and days could change from week to week. So this is one month where it's a little less predictable, but I'm going to try to stick to my Monday, Thursday, Friday, Sunday schedule as close as possible. But just to make sure that you don't miss out on anything, please do subscribe and hit the bell icon, and you'll be in the know. You can also follow me on social media. My handle on just about every platform is @NicholasAshbaugh. So hopefully that helps you out. Twitter is the only exception, and you can see the addresses listed here. They're pinned in the comment as well. If you do follow me on social media, be aware that there are some folks that try to pretend to be me from time to time. I don't use direct messages, and I do not offer private readings, so it's an easy way to kind of weed out what's real and what's not. If you'd like to show some support in real time, you can do that through the SuperStickers, Super Chat, or also memberships. So more on that in a little bit. If you do happen to partake in any of that, I'll say thank you at the very end. And that's everything. So let's get ready for the channel messages today. And I'm going to pull up the presentation right now. How's everybody doing today? Thank you to everyone who got up a little bit early. I do appreciate your patience as I kind of move through the different changes in my life right now. It's kind of an exciting time. I don't think I've done a move in the middle of summer before, but be that as it may, one day at a time. All right, so today, the ocean or the sea, one of the biggest sort of totems on this planet, and it's really the place where most life as we know it started. And I think it's a great energy to be focusing on for your first totem. And then again, I got this sort of ancestral energy that was coming through for the second totem. So it feels like there's a chance for some of you to take a look at maybe making or breaking some cycles in your family. So maybe you're the first to start their own business, the first to go to school, the first to get married, whatever it is. Maybe there's some first that you're celebrating, and this is your chance to really kind of like create a positive chain for future generations, because that's what I was seeing here. So let's take it one slide at a time. There's a lot to look at on this one, so I'll break it down a little bit. But simplify and get back to basics. When I think of the ocean, I think of a beginning, and I think of a thought too, sometimes like a seed. Usually I would use Ace of Pentacles, but I really liked how the Ace of Wands looked like the number 1 here. And my guides were saying, keep it simple, keep it to like one thought or one action or one goal at a time. So what I wrote in the bullet points here was, life began in the oceans because it was like this perfect mix. Simple elements that were just mixed around in the right order at the right time. And so the important thing is to kind of take the necessary elements and maybe rearrange them a little bit. So there's simplicity, but there's also flexibility that comes through with this. Sometimes we're feeling like we're stuck in the 7 of Cups card, where there's all these things to pay attention to. Just take a couple of things, put them in front of you, and focus on those instead. And break something complicated down into its smaller parts. until you can get to that Ace of Wands, that clear idea or the focal point. The other thing that I think about with the ocean is how it moves and why it moves. And there are two primary sort of like tidal forces on it. The biggest, because it's the closest, is actually our moon. Even though the sun is much larger, it has a weaker force on it because it's further away. So the high and low tides are controlled by the sun and the moon. And without it, the water would be a lot less active on this planet. And we wouldn't have some of the erosion and sort of sculpting that happens with water as well. So it's actually quite important to the process that we know on this planet of building and breaking down things to have those tidal forces. Of course, the moon card would come into play here because that's a great sort of connection to this energy in tarot. And the moon symbolizes things that emotionally move us, knowing that our own emotional tides can push and pull things. Also, what I put at the very top as your caption or title would be that your thoughts are like the tidal forces that we talked about, the sun and the moon. What do I mean? I mean that as you start to feel certain things or believe certain things, those beliefs and thoughts are reinforced and reflected in the world around you, sometimes subtly, sometimes obviously. As I'm trying to look for a place to move, it was interesting the other day, I was really focusing on an area and my guides just said, go to your computer, click in the information that you need. And I found something only 15 minutes after it was listed. And I called somebody up and they said, how did you find this? We literally just clicked, like publish for it. And I thought to myself, well, my guides and I are working in tandem so that I can find something. That's an example of me sitting down thinking, I'm not stuck. Something's going to open up. Let's see what's available. It's the beginning of the month. So I put positive energy out there. The universe had someone else that was saying, we should publish it today. Let's see what happens. It's a good time. Someone will connect with it. And so there were two positive thoughts that connected. So there's always, you've just got to kind of shift your focus and you can find something when other people have given up or aren't looking or aren't tuning into the right keywords, to use sort of like a common technological example of that. So thoughts are attractive, thoughts are connective, and if you have the ability to think, I can do this, or I can open up something, or it's, all hope is not lost, then you find something. So that's a real life example for me of manifestation. You can do it in the moment. Even if nothing has been showing up, you can say, today's going to be different, right now is going to be different. This is worth my time. Okay, this is true for dating. This is true for job seeking. The key thing with this is also to have like a little bit of neutrality and a backup plan. Well, if this doesn't work, I'll do this. I'm not putting all of my eggs in this basket. That gives it a nice sort of relaxed energy as well. So look in multiple directions, but realize, like the sun or like the moon, you have a tidal force with your thoughts and with how you feel in your heart space as well. Your whole energetic system is got that sort of tidal energy, okay? So focus on your power and your potential, see where that takes you. Remember here, I also put that they push and pull these thoughts in your life. So open yourself up to being able to pull things in. Next piece. So this was really unique. I normally don't see something like this Council of Elders, Elder Souls, but I saw this group. It looked like we were on some sort of island, and I saw a bunch of tall figures. I couldn't see their faces. And they were pointing towards this like ray of light. And they were saying, you need to step into that and be you, be yourself. And they said, we know it's hard sometimes. We know it's hard to do what you want to do, to say what you need to say, to be who you want to be. And for each of us, that's going to ring a little different because the judgment could come from family, it could come from work, it could come from society. And we're going to look at judgment in just a moment because that made its way in another card. But this particular council was supportive, and they said, what you do in this lifetime is going to affect future lifetimes. And they actually used the example, and it's more sort of symbolic because not all of us are going to have kids, but they said it's like your great-grandchildren's great-grandchildren. You should be thinking that far ahead in the cycle of life and future. And they said you'll be coming back in that period of time. So I had to do the math. I'm like, so if your children had children, that would be your grandchildren. If your grandchildren had children, that would be great-grandchildren. So 3 times 2 would be like 6 generations in the future. So maybe this is like half a century, yeah, not half a century, but half a millennia away. Know this, we do come back. And the one thing that they were showing me was that there's going to be a return tied to divine feminine energy. And we're going to talk about that in another slide here. They said there needs to be healing with respect to that. The earth being the primary piece of it, but also like just taking care of yourself, taking care of one another. That's what the divine feminine does. It nurtures, it supports, it uplifts. We're not doing a lot of that right now. So start within, start with yourself, take care of yourself, educate yourself, support yourself, do whatever you need to thrive and be authentic. Step into that light and into that truth. You're magical. The problem with many of us is we've been taught to be afraid or to hide what makes us unique, what makes us connected to the divine. Many of you may have had a connection. You probably did if you're connecting with me, because I've seen for myself at least half a dozen or a dozen lifetimes where I walked all the paths that I've listed here. Whether you've been a psychic, a tarot card reader, an astrologer, a healer, a druid, a witch, a doctor, somehow connected to divine energy and healing. I get a lot of healing energy coming through today. In the past, this was sometimes revered, like the oracle at Delphi or the high priests and priestesses in Egypt, but oftentimes it was also judged and you were maybe punished for your connection to the divine. As such, we were kind of taught to hide this and we lost some of our skills. We're in a great awakening right now where we're reconnecting to the magician. The period of judgment is gone. If those around you still judge you, they don't understand you. So you are magical. Everyone is connected to divine energy. Everyone has the potential to heal and to create. And your contributions matter. Your skill, whatever it is that makes you special. The Council of Elders wants you to reconnect with that. Some of you, it's your voice. Maybe it's what you write, what you sing, how you speak. Some of you, it's your thoughts and ideas. You're able to pick up on sort of like these epiphanies, and it could be medical or scientific. Or for some of you, there could also be great artistic sort of contributions that you're going to give in like art and sculpture and literature and things of that nature. So whatever it is, we all channel, and then we all take that channeled information and deliver it in our own unique way. So get back into being the channel, which is what the magician is, and do something cool with it. Don't worry what people think. We're moving out of that, or we need to keep transmuting that. Now into the divine feminine. They were very specific on this, and there's one card that really sums it up, and it's the Lightseers deck, because we have the Empress here, but divine feminine is definitely connected to the earth and the moon. So interestingly enough, God is an it. It would have to combine both feminine, masculine, and everything else we can imagine. Genders beyond those things, the constructs that we have on this planet. So it is not a he, we need to get rid of that, and it's not a she, it's an it, and it's something beyond a pronoun. So divine energy is transcending that. So we, as human beings, have for some reason lost connection with divine feminine. We've subverted it, we've pushed it to the side, in language, in life, and I don't know why the council was so specific for this sign, but they really wanted us to connect. And I say us because I have a Taurus in my moon. So they really wanted us to focus on reconnecting with this energy. And so I just mentioned earlier what it's good at: creation, nurturing, building up, lifting up, birthing, all of these things that we need to continue and to see developments happen on this planet. So you are magical, and you can develop and birth and create things. You are both divine masculine and divine feminine, and we need to find a balance of the two. We need to focus on the divine feminine at this moment in time to kind of bring it up so that it can come back into balance, into focus. And there was a message from the council, which is many of us are going to be living lifetimes as divine feminine to help lift it up, because we need higher energy here. So let's make it better so that when we come back, it will be easier for us as well, and it's better for the planet too. Got to start taking care of the planet. Now, if we take out the whole divine feminine, we're looking at environment too. Do you feel nurtured by your current work environment, by your family, by your circle of friends? If you don't, it's time to make changes in those environments as well. So we're looking at the planet, we're looking at literally the divine feminine, and then we're also looking at symbolically what's nurturing us, what our environments look like in a more sort of like symbolic sense, okay? And how can we not have the element of earth coming through for your sign? It makes a lot of sense, right? So hopefully this this helps. And when I'm talking about divine feminine, it matters for everyone. Those who identify as male and female and anything else. This is all, it's all of us. The planet needs us, and we also need to ground ourselves right now and figure out how to get back into our energetic channel and how to help and lift up one another. This month in particular, there's going to be opportunities to ground, to nurture, and to lift up. And we'll be looking at those as we go into your Celtic Cross in just a few moments. And let me see if we have, I think that's everything for today's presentation. So hopefully that helped. I say everything. That was a pretty deep presentation, I think. But it was very interesting to see the piece that some of us have been taught to be ashamed or to forget or to somehow doubt who we are. And so I hope in this moment in time, you celebrate whatever it is that makes you special, unique, different. Because it's kind of boring to just have everybody sort of like trying to change or become the same as everyone else, because that's kind of the antithesis of what we're coming to this planet to do. All right, I'm going to give you a chance to vote on some decks for today. Let me just place them on the table. I gave it some thought this morning, and we'll see here. This one's been coming in a little bit more frequently, so we're going to put the Wild Unknown. Let's see, maybe the Revelations deck could be interesting for today because it shows a balancing energy, except it's a little harder to read, so not that one. I know a lot of you enjoy the Luna deck. I know Taurus seems to enjoy Green Witch deck as well. And let's see, any requests for anything else? Let's see here. What else could come through here? Maybe Tarot of the Divine. Okay. All right, so I think we've got a good selection here. Give me a moment to place these into a poll for you to vote on. All right, so we have the Wild Unknown as option 1. We have Luna as option number 2. We have Green Witch. And then we have True Heart Intuitive. Okay, there we go. Here's some options. Here's a chance to look at each of them in order. So here is the Wild Unknown, a lot of animal totems. It's all sketched out, black and white with spots of color, very beautiful deck. Here is the Luna deck. You'll notice some beautiful foiling on this one. Updated imagery seems to be pretty popular whenever I place it out there as an option. And here is the Green Witch, which is a lovely connection to earth and magic, and has some really beautiful colors in it as well. These are very much Rider-Waite-Smith derivative. This one is a little bit more unique. This one also has some unique takes, even you can see it in this card. So I actually quite like this one. So any of these choices are fantastic. I'll let you take a vote. And while you're doing that, good to see everybody. I hope you're enjoying your day so far. Thank you for getting up early and joining in with me as well. All right, so let's see which one is in the lead. Looks like the Green Witch at 34%. So I'm going to end the poll so we can get started. And we'll see where everything lands here in just a moment. Yes, Green Witch at 33%. Okay, so that's great. We haven't used this one in a while. All right, everybody, welcome. Thank you so much again for taking some time today to join. You can use this for Sun, Rising, Moon, Venus, any aspect of your chart that you happen to know. And you can also watch on behalf of somebody else. We're looking ahead at the next 6 to 8 weeks. All of the videos for July are already up, so this will be focusing a little bit more on August, but we'll still have some energy of right here, right now. So if you're live and you're joining and you need a message, stick around and see what comes through. All right, everybody. Let's take a look at this. You did get a lot of reversals today, so I'm going to focus more on just how to embrace the positive aspects of the card, how to focus on some releases. But let's begin with your main card here, the Catalyst. The Catalyst is connected to what I was talking about, divine feminine energy here. We have the she-wolf coming through, unleash the wild within. So for many of us, we've been taught to, like I said, subvert, to change, to mute our passion, our fire, our truth, our energy. And the she-wolf is coming through to say, actually, you should be tuning into all of the things that make you unique, and also the divine feminine, and also your intuition. Because when we think of wolves, of course, it's going to connect us back to the moon card, but it's also saying it's our most basic form of connection to the environment around us, our instincts, a form of intuition, but again, it's more sort of like sensory. So I want you to focus on when you enter into a conversation, into a room, into a new engagement, how does it make you feel? Does it make you light up? Does it make you retreat a little bit, wondering, why am I here? Focus on the things that are attracting you and the things that are pushing you away, and know that these compasses in your life are something that are valid, that you really want to be paying attention to. The moon card, again, is the reminder for us of the tidal energy of our thoughts and our emotions. So when you find yourself in a place where your thoughts go down a little bit in frequency, use my tip of turning them around. So if you are going out on a date, for instance, and you're starting to get in your headspace and think like, the person's out of my league, what if they don't like me, what if this goes wrong? Think to yourself instead, I'm gonna have a good time tonight no matter what. This is a great place. And what if this actually works out? Why not? Why shouldn't they like me? Just kind of play around with the thoughts a little bit and put it into that sort of energy instead, and think, well, what if this really works out? You know, why shouldn't it work out? And that's going to help you out a little bit. What if you need to, or why not if you need to? So what if this, or why not that? And put a positive after it. And that's a tool that I use. And then make it an affirmative. Today's going to be great. No matter what, it'll be a good dinner. The food is good, at least. Focus on something positive, and that helps you. Same thing when you're trying to manifest something that you're opening up. Today will be different. I'm ready now. I'm different now. The universe will react to me differently because I'm different. This is going to be better. So use those thoughts to manifest better energy and chain reactions around you, because you're constantly tidally pushing and pulling. Another thing that's really powerful is if someone is driving you a little crazy. Think to yourself, it's a powerful thought, but it takes a while to set in. They are not deserving of my mental real estate, of my energy. So I am going to unplug. I'm going to stop thinking about them. And I'm not going to feed that cycle anymore. And you'll notice a change. You'll feel different. They'll feel different. You'll start to think of other people. Unplug, and if you need to distract yourself through reading or talking or researching or doing something else, do that, but unplug, because you deserve someone who's receptive of your energy. And if someone's not receptive, if on all signs they're bouncing back or just not listening, then take that hint of the century and focus on something else, okay? And that is also going to help you elevate a bit too. You don't want to plug into someone else's rejection or negativity or lack of vision, because all that stuff just sort of brings you down a few octaves. So be yourself, be strong, be intuitive, trust your instincts, and change the channel so your thoughts can be tidally different, okay? Love it. And I'm super happy that that came through as your catalyst. The catalyst helps you pull everything into focus. All right, we have the Six of Pentacles, one of the few. Basically, your present and past were all upright. Everything else needs to be shifted in perspective a bit, so I won't really be mentioning the reversals that much, but these few were upright, so these are the most receptive energies. The thing that will help you the most right now is this, discernment. Six of Pentacles helps you find your balance. The interesting thing in this one is if we look really closely at the back, he's got some dice in his hands. And I really want, for some of you, this is about taking a calculated risk. But I also look at that and it kind of reminds me of someone crossing their fingers. One of the things that you want to be mindful of as you get into new engagements and opportunities is how much of a risk do I want to take on this person? How well do I know them? What does their track record look like? Really decide if it's worth your time and energy to risk something. Does the, basically is there a return on your energetic investment, and also is the risk worth whatever possible positive outcome that there could be? We also see this bird here on the side. There might be some messages and messengers that you want to be focusing on. The key thing with the Six of Pentacles is you can't help everybody all the time. So she's the one that in a traditional deck would be holding the scales and the coins and deciding who to give to. I don't trust this one person as much as I'd like to. So really make sure that you trust and you believe in what it is that you're putting your time and energy into. It's also just a gut check. For those of us, and I've been guilty of this myself, like in past jobs, you'll go to work for maybe a company or a person or a project, and you're just not behind what it's about. Maybe after you've worked there for a while, you realize it's a bad working environment, the product's not really good, this isn't helping people, it's just a paycheck. Sometimes we need just paychecks, but in the longer term, you should be finding something where you feel like it's worth it. And don't be afraid to take a risk on yourself. But when it comes to other people, if you're investing a lot and there's not a payoff, or it's just really risky, or it doesn't feel right, this is when the scales kind of tip in the direction of a no. I'm going to show you the traditional card because I think it's actually a smidgen more powerful here to help you see it. So everybody's going to state a case and is going to want some time and energy from you. You're going to have to decide what's worth my time and energy, okay? The Six of Pentacles is what I look for the bare minimum for success. And so you've got everything you need, but you may not have everything you want. And it may be difficult to say no to a few people in your life, but it's going to be really important for your overall mental health, for the ability for things to manifest, and also just for growth to be sustainable. Crossing this card, we have the Five of Swords. The Five of Swords is a fight that sometimes isn't worth fighting. It's you deciding, again, in a different sort of energy, do I really want to go down this path? Typically when the Five of Swords happens in my life, I would look for a different person to talk to, or a different time to talk to them. What happens during the Five of Swords typically is someone, let's say there's not anything environmentally wrong and it's just the way that this person is interacting with you. They may not want to take accountability. They may hear what you're saying, but they're not truly listening to the words. Or when it comes to the things that you need them to do or the things that they're falling short of, it's in one ear and out the other. So they aren't computing. And the more you talk to them, it's more that you're just talking at them and you're kind of like exciting. It's like shaking a wasp nest. At some point, they're going to sting you. So don't do that. If they're not responding, or if they're not listening, or they're flat out rejecting what you have to say, they're not ready to hear it. There may be a better or different person to talk to instead. If they're the gatekeeper or the only person, you're going to have to change your approach, how you're communicating, when you're communicating, and the frequency with which you are communicating. Not just like energetic, but how often. Give them some time and space, change up the message, change up the time. Maybe go with someone else, have a mediator, have someone else present it. Because you plus them equals chaos. It's just not working. The traditional card, I think you might be able to see it a little bit better as well, but typically the person's just not that into what you're saying. And interestingly enough, I don't see it here, but typically when I see a Five of Swords, there's always a Seven of Swords lurking around. Seven of Swords is lying or deceit or not connecting to something. So I would say if you can avoid conflict or conversation, do it. Here we go. This is a better one. So when you look at the traditional card, we see people, they're all turning their backs on one another. And there's someone here that's kind of having a good time at looking at, like, getting under someone's skin. So I would say it's not that it's a lost cause, but it's the wrong time, the wrong person, and possibly the wrong message. This is where, like I was talking about in the channel messages, break it down into something simpler, mix it up a little bit, change it. And then when you communicate with the person, really feel empowered, really believe what you're saying, change the tides of your thoughts and also the tone of your voice, see if that helps. But With the Five of Swords, it's very hard to get the desired outcome. You're going to have to seek a different person, or take that as a big hint that this is the wrong place, the wrong person, the wrong time. And there'll be better things in the horizon. Don't force something to fit. Kind of like a key, it can get stuck in the lock, and you don't want that to happen. A lot of what this is about is the Chariot card here. So who's driving the chariot? Who's in control? It's interesting in this particular deck that they chose to make it like the battle wagon. I feel like some of you are constantly feeling like you're going to battle for what it is that you want, or trying to get the respect or the control or the authority that you want and require here. So it shouldn't be that hard. In a good work environment, in a good relationship, in anything that should be sort of like easy in your life, if it's not easy, you're facing some sort of a friction from the universe to try to push you in a different direction. And so if doors are continually closed, or if you're continually pushed away, pay attention to that. Look at what else is around you and ask yourself, why am I connecting with something so difficult? Okay. One of the things that this card is recognizing and representing is your ability to move forward, to move on, and to manage or take ownership. Okay. So reclaim your power. It's important now more than ever. Now looking at the cards that are shaping up what's available in the month ahead, one of the most important things for you is, how do you feel? Do you feel good, or do you feel like something needs to give in your life? The most important thing for you to do first and foremost is to find some balance. So let's get this cup in the upright position and focus on feeling like some of this can be internal. I am lovable. I am deserving of this. I am ready for this. I think the other thing is, if someone gives you an opportunity or tries to engage you in something, does it sit well? When you think about this, do you think, yeah, I like this. Yeah, this is worth my time and energy. I love it, in fact. If you're not in love with something in your life at this moment, it does not have to be a person, but it should be something. You should be passionate about something. Now is the time to fan the flames of something in your life that brings you a sense of passion, fulfillment, purpose. Any one of those will help you start to feel better about this moment in time. If it's been rough for any number of reasons, maybe personal loss, maybe health issues, maybe just general emotions are in a more sensitive and vulnerable space than they have been, then find an outlet, find a channel. Maybe that means talking to a friend or a therapist. Maybe that means, we talked about earlier, the power of art. You are the magician, so you need to find a way to channel what you're receiving and let it out. Highly creative month for all Taurus signs this month. So I would say focus on doing more creative work. If you've been procrastinating, or maybe feeling like you just have lost your mojo, this card is saying it's still there. Do something that you want to do. Going back into this primal she-wolf energy, really feeling connected to, hey, I can do this, and I'm going to do this, and I don't care what people think, because this is me. When we think of an artist that kind of makes a splash on a scene, a lot of times it's because they're fearless and they're a little bit out there. When she first came out, Lady Gaga had some of this energy, right? She wore crazy stuff. Her music sounded different. She's now kind of gone into a more mainstream phase in her career, but there was a point where she really connected with that, and she's like, I'm just going to be way out there, and I'm going to push all the buttons and see what it does. And she still does that on some levels. But just be as unique and authentic as you can, remembering again what the Council of Elder Souls was bringing through, which was, it's your turn to step into the spotlight, into the star energy. Your crowning card is a really good card, actually. So we have the Eight of Wands here at the very top. This is where your head and the wheels of change are kind of spinning here. The Eight of Wands, it doesn't matter which direction it's in, it's almost invariably positive. So a lot of decks will show this as like rockets in flight. There's also a community energy to the Eight of Wands, and we can kind of see her setting like almost like a picnic here, which I like. So remember that in the midst of something chaotic or busy or a lot of things going on, you always have a network that you can actually tap into if you need to. It just requires you to raise your hand and say, hey, let's take a break here for a second. First of all, you're doing a great job. Secondly, I need some help. How are you doing? Do you need any help? Let's take a moment and connect with each other. Connect to the network of people that are around you that are making everything possible, and realize that together you're making something happen. Eight of Wands is a very consistent and predictable energy of motion. For those of you that happen to own or run a small business, we always want to see something like Eight of Wands because to me, that's a calendar that's fully booked. Eight of Cups is sporadic. It's return clients, but they may come on a whim when something, just out of the blue happens. But Eight of Wands is sort of like dentist and a barber and a groomer for your dog. It's these things that we need to have happen on a predictable basis, a mechanic, etc. So think in your life about what you can do systematically to create positive structures. If you are in a business, like what can you do to bring people back? In your life, it's just about keeping up momentum. So if you've started to see positive traction, maybe it's in your health and your diet and exercise, maybe it's in your money. This is just saying, I'm not going to lose this momentum. I'm going to keep doing it, and I'm going to find a way through. As we look at the center card, the key to this is by saying no to some things and saying yes to the ones that matter. Be discerning. Walk away from lost causes or things that aren't worth your time and energy. Take initiative. Be creative. And those things in and of themselves will help you keep up the momentum. Three of Cups. Three of Cups card is typically a good card. Celebrations, good news, new people coming into your life. It can also represent gossip or a fear of what other people will think or say. Your power this month, and the suggestion that this card is saying here, is to tune out from playing to the masses or playing to that crowd, because good work stands on its own, especially if or even if it isn't what is expected. So get people talking. If people are talking, you're doing something important. And if you are doing something important, not everyone's going to agree. And if there's only one or two dissenting voices or a very small minority of dissenting voices, and they tend to be just sort of minor things, that's the name of the game when you have increased visibility and you're being asked to step in the spotlight. So if most of the news is good and mostly there's support, then it's fine. Always going to be one or two people that don't agree. You just can't make everybody happy because this planet is at present kind of like a balance of shadow and light. And so when there's something really bright, there's always going to be some shadow energy pushing at it a little bit. And so that's just the balancing energy trying to step in. So you just have to shine a little brighter. Some of you are an unlikely social butterfly. There's maybe some invitations that are being sent your way. You don't want to go to them, but then when you find yourself in a social situation, you thrive. So Three of Cups in reverse is someone that doesn't want to do something socially or in public, but actually does a really good job. So maybe a little stage fright or anxiety, but if you can push through it, it ends up being good. Three of Cups is also a question of commitment. So one of the challenges, and we'll look at this more when we get into relationships, specifically in the extended forecast, but in all sorts of engagements this month is, should I stay, should I go? Is this for me? Is this right for me still? So there is a question of longer term commitment. The Three of Cups is a little non-committal. It's not as like the Fool is just happy-go-lucky, come and go. Three of Cups usually comes through when you're dating or considering or questioning something. There is this ongoing energy of exploration, but there isn't yet the commitment. So some of you are getting closer to that, or again, you have a little question of the commitment. So have a discussion if that question's coming through. It can also indicate a third party. So all the things that I was talking about earlier with like having someone bring up negative or positive, just take it with a grain of salt if a third party comes in between you and someone that you care about. All right, let's move on to you. Your energy is quite good this month. When I look at what's coming through for Eagle, Soul, Self, we have the Three of Wands. The Three of Wands is in reverse, however, which is saying that you may be surprised, positively surprised by how quickly something's manifesting. I mentioned an experience just yesterday when I was doing some research and something popped up out of the blue. And I was surprised, but I wasn't. I thought to myself, yeah, this is manifestation. But even when you do it, sometimes it's sort of like, I didn't think it would happen that fast, and the person at the other end was surprised too. So be open to be pleasantly surprised. Like, a thought can manifest within 15 minutes like that. So this Three of Wands, I like. I like that he's right at the shore. He's ready for the ship to come in. One of the ships already there. In a traditional spread, you're going to see a person on a hill watching all of this stuff from afar. And what's powerful about this one is they are right there. So the news from the universe for you, Taurus, is what you want is there. Are you looking in the right places? Have you let go of the disbelief that things have to, that they couldn't happen this fast, or that there might be, you aren't deserving of something? Let go of the disbelief or any of these sort of thoughts that are pushing back how quickly or how effectively or how grand things could happen. Do you see the difference in how this person's right there? This person's so far away. So it's closer, it's within reach. What you seek is in front of you, around you, behind you. It's kind of like a Four of Cups moment where the obvious is sometimes what you need to reach out to and embrace. So I like that. Also, we see a return on intelligent investments. So when we look at the center again, we had Six of Pentacles, which is discernment. We have the creative energy here. So if you're discerning, you go into the creative energy, you keep your momentum up, then we start to see some immediate progress happening with that, okay? Now, when we look in your environment, it's time for a change. We have the World card here. The World card is big movements. So this can indicate a new job, a new relationship, a new home. It can also be a different way of thinking. All of a sudden you realize this is me, but that isn't. And I'm going to focus more on this. So because of that epiphany, one of those other things typically changes or shifts or falls away rather. Because this is in the environment, it's giving me a special message for many of you, which is clean up the messes around you. The messes could be figurative. It could be relationships that are kind of left in shambles. It could be debts that are unpaid. It can also be very, very literal, which means that there are some cobwebs in your house. There's some piles on your desk that need to be looked at. You're holding on to some old things that don't serve your energy anymore. So do some spring cleaning. I don't care what season it is. Just do some cleaning. Get into the closets, get into the corners, use some sage or whatever the smudging instrument is of your choice and clean it on a literal level and then on an energetic level. Whenever I see the Tower card coming in the environment like that, it shows that there's good energy to happen with that sort of clearing and cleaning. This is the World card, but it looks to me kind of like that, and it's upside down and topsy-turvy. So World and Tower give me that energy of just needing to clean and needing to rearrange, move some stuff around. So the other thing that I'm seeing with this is that once you change up the environment a bit, you're going to find this new sense of energy. We see the snake at the bottom of this. And you're going to avoid the Tower, by the way. Take control over this, open up the doors and windows, because that's actually what the World card is all about, right? It's a new beginning and it's an opening and it's clearing things out. So once you do that, you open your mind, you open your heart, you open the energetic flow. Now, for those of you that are ready to birth something, because we talked about divine feminine energy, this World card can indicate an opportunity to deliver, disseminate, or to release something in a new channel. So whatever you've been thinking about putting out there in the world, this card is saying now is the time, but shake it up a little bit. The vehicle through which you deliver it could be different. So I get both. When I look at the card, I get both the Tower and the World. There's another deck that shows like a wild oak, and I think that's why I'm seeing both energies intermixed in this, but I'm going to go with it. So when you make and control the change on your own, you avoid the Tower, but there's something kind of like breakthrough about this, so I can't get out of the fact that you're getting kind of like a combination of Tower and World energy here. So a big change, a big shakeup, a big sort of clearing and cleaning environmentally around you is going to help you out. All right. Moving on to hopes, fears, and opportunities, we have the Seven of Pentacles. This is a really beautifully illustrated Seven of Pentacles. So with the Seven of Pentacles, we always need to focus on healing, on patience. And what I like about this is he's not sacrificing quality. He's not rushing. He's not overextending. He knows exactly what he can do. Seven of Pentacles happens because somewhere in the past, we said we could do something and maybe we fell short of expectations, or maybe we overextended in money, promises, or resources, and now we're being tested right now to make sure that we've learned our limits. So all you have to do is use the power of the Six of Pentacles at the center and say, I can't do that, or I don't want to do that, or this isn't worth it. As I did that, this card went flying in the air. So someone could raise a little bit of a concern or a stink and say, well, but you've always done this before. Why is it changing now? And you'll have to back it up and say, because I want to focus on this instead, because last time it wasn't worth the time and energy. Just stand firm in your limits and you're going to thrive because you're headed in the right direction. 6 of Pentacles, 7 of Pentacles, the next one is the 8. And usually the 8 looks like a production line. So you're very much headed in the right direction. And now in the outcome card, we have the Lord of Shadows. Lord of Shadows being the Devil card in this particular, yes, the Devil card, I believe. No, Death in this particular deck. So with the Death card, it's a necessary change. We actually just talked about transformation yesterday. So this is really important. We talked about the butterfly. So what I would say here is there's something that's overdue. We have the world and the environment, the change is happening around you, and the question for you is, am I ready to accept this change? Why am I not being able to accept this change if you're holding back a little bit? This kind of looks like Azrael if we're going to go with the traditional sort of version of death. So this has come up a couple of times over the course of this month. Azrael is a very healing energy, and it's a portal energy. And basically it's saying, as I was talking about on the weekend, if you haven't listened to The Collective, please do. But I use the analogy of Charlotte's Web, where she creates an egg sac and she tells Wilbur the pig that this was her life's creation, her biggest thing. It's her magnum opus. And this was sort of that generational energy that I was talking about, which is we have a bigger legacy, we have a bigger purpose. There's, yes, one thing ends, but so much more is going to come through after that. So all of those little baby spiders were her sort of like, it was her legacy for the future. And those future generations hung around Wilbur, so he wasn't really alone. So sometimes we feel like the door is closed and that's it. Many other doors, not just one, many other doors are opening. And to kind of continue and piggyback off what we talked about on the weekend, which is really pertinent because we just discussed it, it's coming through again, which is saying not an end, a beginning. If there's stagnation, it's time to release. The discerning energy of the 6 of Pentacles is asking you to say, why do I continue to invest in this? Why don't I go back into what I'm being drawn to connect with? I'm going to find my power, etc. Let's extend this forecast. We're going to take a look at health, wealth, love, and destiny and get a deeper understanding of how you can jumpstart things, how you can expand, how you can clean things up a little bit. We're going to begin with your health card. The health card, I like to remind you at the beginning here, is always going to be about energy and metaphysics. If there's anything going on in your mind or in your body, work with the appropriate professional. I'm going to help you navigate through how to kind of change your approach, how to change your energy here. So guess what we got here? Letting go. What did we get up here? Letting go and opening up new doors. And we see this deep well here in this particular card, which sometimes it feels like it's taking a lot of energy to kind of come out of that well. It's worth it. And this is an energy of change. So with this, for your health, there's something in your life that requires release. Release of a job, release of a relationship, contractual release. By the way, if you want to do that, listen to the meditation portion. All the timestamps are up for the weekend. Go to the meditation and I do a contract release on that. And it was a really great one, I thought. So listen to that and that'll help you out. But what I was talking about earlier is super powerful. If you've broken up with someone, if you're angry at someone, if someone's in your energetic space and you're sick of it, we've all been there on some levels. I want you to understand that when you decide to shift the focus, that you'll start to feel better almost immediately. And one of the ways to get there is just to think, you are not deserving of my time and energy anymore. I'm going to spend it wiser, and more wisely, I should say. And you're going to just, and anything else would be better probably. So just decide, I'm not going to argue anymore. I'm not going to get angry anymore. We're not going to have any more conversations. I'm just going to completely unplug and start to fill my battery up. Because as long as you're plugged into that person, their thoughts, and trying to control them or trying to affect them, then you are depleting yourself. So releasing from that kind of energy is going to be key. Let's look at some other places where you could let go or transform things. And let's also look at just the cards in general for health messages. All right. So the biggest thing here, like I said, for some of you is a move or an improvement of the environment. So moving things around, cleaning things up, making sure that the environment feels good for you. Also taking a look at, I think for some of you, you have to have a discussion over money with your partner, and we'll talk about that when we go to relationships in just a few minutes, but getting a handle on your money is key. I see healing happening, but healing takes time, and impatience is probably your biggest foe this month. You might be wanting to rush something, and you can't. Don't rush it to the presses. Give yourself time. And there are always chances to rise up, and so second chances in your life, not necessarily in love, but this is sort of like to finish something that you started, to heal yourself, to move through a challenge. I see a second chance and something really appealing on the horizon for you. Emotional stability and just general sort of sensitivity is also coming through. And that's mostly it. It seems very manageable when it comes to health this month. We didn't get a big card here. I would say avoid excess. So drinking too much, eating too much, or doing anything too much could get in the way of you being able to sort of like be your best. The last thing with this is some of you might have a wake-up call. So the death card can be literal. It can also be a brush with death in your life. So someone may have had a close call, or you may have, sometimes it can just even be like when you're in the car and you hit your brakes just in time to avoid an accident or something. So in our life, there's a lot of those sort of moments where it's like, I got out of that situation just in time. I feel like you're getting out of something just in time. And as long as you continue to follow the intuition that this doesn't serve me, this doesn't benefit me, this isn't right, so I'm going to go in this direction, that you'll be fine. It's when we hold on to something that we know is no longer elevating or energizing or supporting us that we tend to get ourselves into trouble. So that's the main thing that I'm seeing here. If there's something, also just some of you are sitting too much. So the death card reverse can simply be needing to change your routine up a little bit, get a little bit more activity and action in your life as well. Okay, let's focus now on the next card. We're going to look at wealth. We have childhood and innocence here. This card is very much connected to the Six of Cups in a traditional tarot deck, which would say, I need to have some fun. I need to reconnect with the friends and the family that, again, really kind of make me feel amazing, and vice versa. The other thing with this is, and in wealth, this is interesting, but it's having fun, loving who you work with, and having that sort of irreverent energy. I think back to like some jobs that I had when I was in high school, because for some reason you don't feel like you're invested as much when you do some of those jobs, but you can maybe think of your first just job for fun or job for money. And maybe for me, I was working at a restaurant. It was hard work, and I did it for like 4 years, but I really liked the team of people around me. Customers could be crazy sometimes, especially if we did like a catering event or whatever, but I really enjoyed just hanging out with the group. We had each other's back and we had fun. Had fun in the kitchen, had fun when we were serving, we would have fun cleaning up later, and it was my first job and I was making money and I really didn't care, and I knew that this was like a stepping stone, and there was this sense of I just was there for the experience of working, and it was fun because of that, and I didn't take all the drama too seriously. So if you can rise above it, maybe for some of you, like you have to work at a certain place, but you really can vibe into the group that you're with. That makes it all worthwhile, right? The work can be tough, the people can be tough, but if your team is great, you're going to be fine. If a lot of those other things may be challenging, but you're really behind the type of work, like you're making an impact on the planet, or you're doing something that makes you feel a sense of fulfillment, then the energy and the effort that you're putting into it is worth it. So maybe you're going back to school and the homework's hard, the tests are hard, the thesis is hard, whatever it is you're working on, but you want it, then it doesn't matter, because the end result is worth it. So this is about where are you having fun and where can you sort of feel like I'm connecting with this and it's okay. You've got to find a way to rise up above some of the other stuff, particularly the Five of Swords. Someone or something is in the Five of Swords energy, but if most of the stuff is in the Six of Cups energy, you're going to be okay. And you're not going to let that one thing get in the way. Some of you may be thinking of moving or teleworking. I mean, we're doing a lot of remote work right now, but this can be a big shift, a big change, okay? So the World card means it's time to shake it up a little bit. If you're looking for a new job, word of mouth is going to matter more than anything. If you're looking to move into an apartment as well, the word of mouth or the references are going to play a big role as well. They'll be calling people. Also, I love this. Some of you are really, really busy, but this is saying take a moment to tune in and say yes to one of the invitations, because it could be a world or life-changing sort of event for you. So you could go to a party and meet the love of your life. You can go to a party and get a new job connection. You could go to a party and someone tells you that there's a home that you can buy. Something big happens through a random connection. It could be a conference, a party, a gathering. You do want to put yourself out there, because I see here something big happening. You don't want to be too busy for that. And that's going to be important. So network for sure. Only fight the fights worth fighting. Really be mindful of money and resources right now. You have enough. Be smart. Don't overextend. I think those are the main things here. It does feel like something's served its higher purpose. So interestingly enough, sometimes we set out to do something like start a company or get a degree or kind of like get some sort of an award. And once that happens, it's anticlimactic. And then we think to ourselves, now I'm kind of spinning my wheels. Now what? So I said this on the past couple of readings, but you're always allowed to redirect. You're not forced into a template that you chose at age 18, 21, 30, whenever you kind of went on this current path. Each year, each day, each 7 years, whatever, you're allowed to shift a little bit and say, this isn't working, but that is. Or I did everything that I set out to do. Now I want to do something different. So it feels like some of you have achieved what you wanted to. That's fine. What next? Do some dreaming, do some planning. Don't just jump without having some sort of a net, but create that security, create that net, create that plan, that blueprint, and then there's an eventual jump that's happening for many of you, okay? Like I said, looks pretty good. It looks like it's going to be a busy month, a month of change, a month of hidden opportunities, and a month where you can manifest them much faster than you could ever imagine. So be willing to look in places that you wouldn't. Be willing to be active like this guy and get to the pier and meet opportunity when it arrives. Don't delay. No, this is not a time for procrastination, for sure. Okay. Some of you also want to make a difference with next generation. I talked about like your great-grandchildren's great-grandchildren. So this is saying children of the future. One of those children of the future is going to be you at some point too. But we're going to give back to future generations. There should be some sort of giving back at the end of this lifetime. For whatever reason, Taurus is being chosen this month to help with that. All right, let's look at love and relationships. We have Lady Nada here saying heart awakening, awaken to acceptance and divine love, give and receive in balance. So this is some of that divine feminine energy that I was talking about, forgiving yourself, taking care of yourself, nurturing yourself, especially when you didn't receive that from others, even if you didn't receive it from others. We're going to break this down and look at 3 different things. Those of you that are in a relationship, those of you that are seeking a relationship, and those that are single but happy. All right, so focusing on those that are already in a relationship. If you're not dating someone, this can be the most important sort of platonic relationship in your life as well. The main thing here is it's not about winning or losing, because if you go at that with the 5 of Swords crossing the center card, you're going to stalemate. Nothing's going to happen. So let's not point fingers. Let's really focus on what's worthy of time and energy. And also, I think the biggest thing in relationships is, are you getting what you asked for, what you bargained for? The 6 of Pentacles shows a little bit of imbalance. It has to be give and take. There can be times where you're giving more and they're giving a little less, and then vice versa. But if it's always kind of like imbalanced and you're always giving or you're always receiving energetically, then this is saying it's time to evaluate that, because it's not sustainable in the long run. There are people that like to be caretakers, but again, that can sort of be a codependent energy if you're not careful. So this is just really begging you to evaluate and find balance. I think the biggest challenge in relationships right now is, for some of you, this card can be the one of in-laws. So mother-in-law, father-in-law, sister-in-law can be coming in, creating a little bit of imbalance in the relationship. It can also be a question of, we've been together for a long time. Is the spark there, still there? Do you still appreciate me? Do you still love me? So it's more of a questioning energy of how can we rekindle and maintain the same intimacy. It's going to change over time, right? The butterflies disappear, but hopefully the attraction, the love, the deepening of the love, that's something that continues and grows and evolves over time. So spark the flame a little bit with this one. The Three of Cups can be making sure that you have a date night. And it doesn't have to be a traditional one, and you don't have to go to a fancy restaurant. It can just be something that is cool for the two of you. And I talk about intimacy being able to also just be talking about the things that are stressing you out. When you think of your best friends, it's someone that you can pick up the phone at 8 o'clock at night and call if something's going on, and they'll pick up. So intimacy is who has your back and who cares and who you want to tell even the not so good news. So make sure that you're including your partner in all the stuff that's going on, and vice versa, that you are there for them. So building on intimacy, fanning of the flame there a little bit, not letting third parties get in between you, especially extended family. And if there is another third party coming in, it's a bigger conversation, because for some of you, a relationship could be at a sort of turning point or a testing point, because the Three of Cups can be literal. There can be another person and somebody's interested. So I think the main thing, though, for most of us is just focusing on how can we deepen our trust and our intimacy, and how can we kind of reaffirm or reconnect into that commitment. All right. But nowadays, this can be an open relationship or a third person, so I have to kind of bring that up. Busyness is going to be the big challenge here. There's a lot going on, so just making time and room for your partner. Pretty successful if you put your energy into improving things. I think a trip could be nice for you. And again, just planning out the money situation as good as you can. The Death card, again, is just feeling stuck a little bit and understanding that you don't have to feel stuck. So try something much different. Don't do the same place that you always go to dinner. Don't kind of fall into all of those same habits. Shake it up a little bit, spice it up a little bit, and that's going to help you out. For those of you looking for love this month, the first and most important thing is, do you have the time? Have you allocated the time? Because, have you cleaned up your sort of money situation? Because time and money come through stronger than relationships. Then I also want to see a resolution of this weird Five of Swords energy. Because if you're entangled with someone else in an argument, could be an ex, by the way, then this is going to make it weird for you to be able to make a fresh start with someone new. Do I see a clear person coming in? Not necessarily. I see, for some of you, like I said, a move, a release of something, a letting go, as we saw here. And then I see improvement when it comes to your money, your time, your schedule. And then I think that, yes, maybe in a month or two, that energy is opening up. But there's some internal healing to do first. So this connects to both those looking for love and those that are single and happy. Single and happy, you're going to even get through this sooner because you're not trying to find someone else. And so what we see here is an unexpected, speedy and beneficial change. So a new job, a new relationship, a new place of living. And maybe it's something that you weren't looking for, but it's presented to you. And because you're not focusing on seeking out a partnership, it happens even faster. For those that are looking for a partnership, the suggestion is to go into making the necessary change and getting out of a rut. Yes, love can come in, but it looks like some of the other stuff around you could make it difficult for this to sit. I think this is a time just to get to know people. So the Three of Cups is the dating card at its core. So have some fun and date if you're looking for love this month. Death, Judgment, and maybe even like the Star card can show a past life connection. So there is some karmic energy coming through from the past, and the karmic energy was around limits and patience. So it's your turn to kind of be patient with the flow here. So take your time getting to know somebody. That's kind of what I would say for everybody this month as well. That single and happy, single and looking, but even in a relationship, patience is key. And trust that if you're patient and you see things through, it's going to work out okay. Destiny card. This is sort of, for some of you, maybe what you're afraid of. Quiet time, it's the hermit basically with solitude. But what we see here is something really lovely. In silence, peace prevails. This is also the answer to this nonsense. So if you've been arguing with someone, if they're not listening, we see the peacock in the background, which is a really sort of like showy card. And if you have a couple of peacocks, there's a couple of like high energetic people that are trying to sort of out talk or out argue or kind of like be louder than the other person. Maybe just walking away, having some peace and quiet is going to be the important thing right now. Get your clarity. Also notice how she stepped into the light. So sometimes that means stepping away from someone who can't support you or can't see what you need or want to be. Step into that light, be yourself. Even if you're solo for a little bit, it's not the worst thing in the long run. So we see ultimately basically a hermit card here saying you're fine. You're still in the light when you're the hermit. You're still holding the lantern with the hermit. Okay? Let's get some focus now and take a look at the big idea. Big idea, of course, being, for some of us, I'm going to say, how do we take that lantern and shine it now with this? So let's take a look at the big idea and see what the cards have to say about that. Okay, we have the lovely Fool card. In this deck, it's the green man. It's upright, which is fantastic. So, the big idea this month is about stepping into something new, taking a change and having some fun with it, and not carrying too much baggage with you into this new element. So the Fool, we can basically see him right at the center there with his little puppy dog there. But one of the things that I would say is missing from this, and we'll take a look at the regular Fool, is the Fool packs lightly. All he carries with him is a little satchel behind him. And this is a reminder that when you let go of something, since we have the Death card and the World card, so if you're breaking through something, if you're letting go of something, when you go into something new, leave the old stuff behind. And for those of you that have moved, you know that this is true sometimes too. Maybe there's an old television and you're like, it's not worth the energy of taking that and bringing that into a new space. So I'm just going to let it go. I'm going to give it away. I'm going to sell it. I'm going to trash it, something like that. Same thing with certain pieces of furniture. It's a chance. Anytime you move, you get to decide, does this still serve me? Does this still help me? Is this worth it? So really pack lightly and let go of old vendettas, old baggage, emotional baggage, and just say, I want to go into this situation free of the constraints in my heart and in my head, so that I can really focus on what the universe is offering me, not on what could have, should have, would have been, not in what wasn't or didn't happen in the way that I wanted it to. So stepping forward, untethered, unbothered, with an open mind. I like it a lot. That's a great message. Let's take a look at blessings and blocks for this month ahead. Just like it sounds, something to embrace, something to transmute or be wary of, perhaps. So let's see here. Blessing this month is the 10 of Wands. The block this month is the 3 of Swords. So let's break them down a little bit. We have the 10 of Wands in reverse for the blessing. So the interesting thing with 10 of Wands is there's this sort of combination of being exhausted, but also being completely aware of how much you want something, how close you are to seeing something to its fruition or to its final phase, and allowing for that to be what lifts you to the finish line. Don't let anyone else force you to do something that you don't want to do, to deliver it before the time is right, or to go against your better judgment. Because the 10 of Wands in reverse can be someone abusing position or power or trying to push you. 10 of Wands upright is saying, I'm strong enough, I'm smart enough, I'm prepared enough to do it in the right time, and I'm not going to give up. So you're very close to seeing something through. Finish what you've started. Don't let someone force you to stop before you've finished what you need to finish. That's the main message for the blessing. As we look at the block, we see a chance to release. So we have the 3 of Swords in reverse. For some of you, there is this chance to return to, again, we saw that peace and solitude card here. So some of you are just deciding like, I need some time, I need some space. Now, the 3 of Swords usually has with it this understanding something didn't go the way that I wanted it to go. So you have a choice with 3 of Swords to sit and focus on what made it painful, or to look and think, well, all right, that didn't feel good. It didn't work out the way I wanted to. I'm allowed to be upset, but what am I going to do now? What am I going to do about it? So you acknowledge the feeling. You have to acknowledge your feelings or else they're going to take power of you. But what you're going to say is now is, I'm going to use this energy for something greater, for something positive. So my question to you, for whatever it is that didn't go the way you thought it would go, what's next? Now what? What do you want to focus on? That's going to be how you can avoid feeling blocked or staying in that energy of the Three of Swords, which in this deck would kind of be like a closed door. It's open here, which is kind of interesting. So don't close the door because of one no, because of one rejection, because of one misunderstanding. Focus on where the yes could be in your life, okay? Let's now navigate into viewers and readers' choice. This is a chance where you're going to be able to vote, and I'll choose something as well. So we're going to take a scan and look at all the cards here, and I'll put a few options out here for you to look at. All right. So let me just block that person there. It's so sad that we still have some spam here on comments, but I got it. All right. So let's look at how to focus on some positivity here. All right. So we have the World card. What's going on with respect to the big changes or the big movement in your life? So let's see. What is the new movement or change? And we'll see what's coming through for that. Thanks for those little emojis. They brought my attention to that. I'm doing this without a moderator because I lost my moderator earlier this year, so thank you for your patience. All right, so what's the movement or change going through? Let's see what else is coming through that we need to focus on. Actually, let me break this down into two things. So what's the big opportunity? What should you let go of? And how can you overcome stagnation? These are all good. Good luck with those, because I feel like they're all worth looking at. While you're deciding on those, I want to see how you can enter into something. Actually, I want to see how you can manifest faster, because we have the Three of Wands, and I gave you a real life example of that. So let's take a look and see how you can manifest a little bit faster. So. All right, so we have the Eight of Pentacles. There is power in writing things down. Sometimes we forget that. I always like to kind of break it down into three things. So think it, say it, write it, do it. But if you kind of like keep a journal, keep a vision board, you have to kind of like get it out. But part of it, I would say, you go from here and you put it on paper, and then from paper you communicate or bring it into action and breathe life into it. So what are you doing to create a blueprint? What are you doing to create some sort of a map for what's next in your life? If you don't know right now, then just find some inspiration. I would say for many of us, we have to get specific on what we're manifesting. So I gave you the example of the apartment. For the apartment, there were certain things that I was looking for, certain physical and environmental or neighborhood attributes. And so I knew those. But when I was doing the search, my guide said, take this out, because if these are here, they'll be here and they may not list this. So I was like, all right, I'll do that. And then lo and behold, new things came up and they had everything that I was looking for. But as I was going through, I'm like, I'm looking for all of this. So just show me which keywords to put in. And so it's kind of like this interesting piece. Keywords are a great sort of metaphor because you don't want to be so restrictive that nothing filters through. So you have to figure out what the key elements are and trust that those will probably attract the other things that you're looking for. When I was manifesting this adorable little fluff in the background, Apollo, I was more concerned with his personality and his kindness and his quiet energy. And I knew that I liked about 3 different breeds of dogs. I liked Lhasa Apsos, I liked Yorkies, and I liked Maltese. And I loved the mutt versions of them. So I'm like, anything that kind of looks fluffy, scruffy, Benji-like is fine with me. So I found this mixed breed dog that is a rescue, by the way, but I was more concerned about the kindness and the personality. And then I got everything. I got more than what I was looking for. Same thing, fingers crossed, will eventually happen with what I'm trying to manifest with a place. But you have to know what the most important things are and then figure out where you're flexible. And put that down then start to use those filters. So write it down, and when you're doing the list, maybe cross out some of the things that are too restrictive and get clear. So your clarity is going to help, and sometimes we need to write them down. What I did the night that I kind of called him into existence, or I reached out in the cosmos and tried to find that energy. And I said, gotcha, found you. You let me know when you're on the planet. And I waited a couple years until his soul was here and was ready and called to me. So there's different ways to do it, but I did have a list in my head for the apartment. I have a list on paper, and it helps. So find what you're looking for and kind of then carry that and ingrain that with you, and that will help you manifest faster. Okay? Good. All right. So let's see now what you've chosen for me. What's the big opportunity? That's great. All right, so let's take a look and see what the big opportunity is. Okay. Turn the camera down, take a look, and see. Yeah, thanks for the offers to moderate. I'm really looking for someone that's already had a chance. There's a moderation form on my website, but you have to have previous experience. There's too much power with moderators. I typically only choose people that I know in real life because you have the opportunity to delete all the comments on my channel. So I have to be really, I have to know the person. So in the meantime, I'll just self-moderate and put on a long delay like I've done until I can find the right person. So I don't just randomly assign them, if you're wondering why. If I need to, I will simply just delay comments longer, and I'm pretty good at doing it in real time. Okay, so you asked me, what's the big opportunity? Let's take a look at this. We have the Page of Pentacles. The page was reversed. Let me pull it up to the main camera so you can see it. And so this is saying, pick one thing, be discerning. Also, listen to feedback. This is not the most fun thing for anybody, especially for a creative person, but there's something valuable in the feedback that you're receiving. At least one thing. And so take a little bit of constructive criticism, and the main thing that you're kind of resonating with, go with it. And then the other thing here is don't be afraid to invest in yourself. Listen to what you want to do. So listen to yourself, be open to external feedback, and then invest in yourself. The page court cards reversed are saying, I'm going to take some of my energy and resources and put them back into the most important investment, myself, my livelihood, my education. So this card would be saying it's a great time to focus on training, education, internship, mentorship, etc. Put your focus into one thing. Be open to asking for help and getting a little bit of assistance, whether it's a contractor, an editor, an assistant. Someone can come in and help you work your magic a little bit, okay? And that's the big opportunity. The Page of Pentacles here is also asking you or saying for you, with big opportunity, it's sort of like, do I believe in myself? Am I ready for this? Is this going to be something that I would do as well? Because until you believe, until you're 100% ready, probably shouldn't be doing it. And you need to sort of like get into that mental space of, absolutely, this is what I want, and this is what I need. And this is what I've been waiting and hoping to kind of bring about in my life. All right, let's move on to something new that I think is a lot of fun, which is the sun, the rising, and the moon messages. And as I said earlier, you can use this for any aspect of your chart, but I love to separate out these three things for all of us. So just a quick overview of how each will work. The sun sign, of course, is typically, for those of you that are sun sign, it's what you're born under, it's your personality, it's the core version of you. The rising is how you want to be seen in the world. It's how you're projecting, it's how you're being received. The moon is sometimes things we're still discovering about ourselves. It can be secrets that we keep. It can be secret strengths that we have. So there's a lot of revelation in that particular aspect. So without further delay, let's go ahead and take a look at sun, rising, and moon. Sun, rising, and moon. All right, let's begin with the sun sign. We have the Seven of Wands for those of you that are born under the sign of Taurus. Seven of Wands is saying, This month, the important thing for you is to decide how to work a little bit smarter. You can do anything that you set your mind to. You can do more than people expect. You are excelling this month at managing. Don't forget the power of management, which includes delegation. So decide what's worth your time and what might be better delegated to someone else. So getting yourself out of the weeds, not doing all of the sort of menial, non-essential work. Focusing on big picture energy and sort of like outlooks. That's going to be key as well. Also remembering when and where you want to stand up for your ideas and defend yourself. And also to try not to get overly defensive when someone's giving a critique or some feedback. So walking that fine line, because you're in, whenever we're looking at uneven numbers, odd numbers basically, there's an opportunity to find your balance. And we see her kind of on this stool here, so we don't want to have her like lose her balance. So this month you're reaching for a little bit more. It's already there, by the way, because when we look at your crowning card, we saw the Eight of Wands. Bring in the other people, invite more people into the fold. Share this energy. You don't have to do it all alone. This Seven of Wands tends to be, it's me against the world, or I'm juggling everything. And I know some of you out there may actually thrive on chaos or stress or a lot of things on your plate. I'm encouraging you this month to try to take care of yourself as well, so that doesn't take you off your sort of like focus or balance, okay? Overall, it's a good card. You can handle anything that comes your way. Don't be afraid to push back. Don't be afraid to say no, because I really want to get you back into that energy of the Eight of Wands, which is moving you closer to completion. You got all the higher Wands cards this month. The Three of Wands, the Eight of Wands, the 10 of Wands. The Seven of Wands is more of a warning here to not try to do everything, because good bosses and good managers don't do everything. They hire a team of leaders that work with them so that everybody's able to kind of like be empowered. So empower people around you. Okay, moving from the sun sign to rising or ascendant. All right, so we have a reversal on this one. We have the Knight of Pentacles in reverse. For some of you, you need to slow down. Whenever I have a Knight card, it's usually about hitting the pause button when it's reversed and looking back or looking down, getting centered for a second. Knight upright is saying like, let's move this horse forward, let's get moving. Reverse, it's saying focus on the numbers a little bit and make sure that you haven't lost track of why you're doing something, how well you're doing something, if it's fulfilling. This is showing up for those of you looking at rising and ascendant. This is your work, in particular, work, school, and financial matters. So slow down a little bit and get a handle on those parts of your life in particular. And going back and combining this with the elder counsel that came through that said, step into the light. So rather than just galloping off and losing focus here, take a moment and really share what you've learned and get back into the core purpose and the core vision. Don't just move forward at a breakneck speed. So slow, steady, deliberate. If you can kind of move with that kind of action, it's going to behoove you. Things will be good. There could also be something that is presented to you. There's a chance for you to negotiate when the card is reversed. So if you have an offer on the table, maybe you can get a little bit more. If you're being asked for too much, definitely negotiate and make sure that you're not being taken advantage of here, okay? Something with respect to resources needs to be balanced out. But the Knight of Pentacles is a good card even in the reverse state. So it's just saying slow down, be careful, be mindful. Everything's going to work out if you do that. Moving on from rising into the moon sign, we have the Four of Cups. Four of Cups was reversed, but generally speaking, whether it's upright or reverse, it's just saying, hey, the universe is giving you something unexpected. Are you listening? Are you answering the call? In this particular card, we see someone focusing on maybe questioning, like, why hasn't this happened? Or how did I get here? And they're missing this other thing, which is saying, it all lined up for a reason. I'm setting you up for this new connection, for this new love, for this new job, for this new opportunity. So look around. Something is within reach. There could be unrequited love. There could be an untapped opportunity. The other thing with the Four of Cups is a reminder that the grass isn't always greener somewhere else. And sometimes we look at how others are tracking and we think, why not me? What's wrong with me? So instead, you want to focus on remembering that that thought is pushing rather than pulling something in. And we want to get into the Three of Wands energy that showed up for you in your soul card this month. So instead, you're going to say, why not me? Not why me. Why not me? And what am I missing? What's available to me? And am I missing something that I could be grateful for? Just kind of opening up your eyes, opening up your heart a little bit to what's already around you. And also what more you might be capable of. Not feeling defeated. Avoid that sort of feeling that it's not working out. It is working out. The universe is always conspiring to improve, help, or enrich your life in some way, shape, or form. It doesn't always feel like it, does it? But ultimately, you have the strength, the capacity, and the power to get past the hurdle that you're going through. And I know a lot of us have been through a lot. The past couple of years have been taxing and trying on a lot of us. The financial state of the world can sometimes be trying and taxing. Some of you may have lost people or lost things in your life, and that can be difficult. But as time passes, as you change, as you shift perspective, a lot of times you see the necessity in those trigger moments, those sort of catalyst moments where, were it not to happen in that way, shape, or form, you would have missed an opening over here. So the more perceptive you are, the more you can avoid some of those bumps in the road, just like a driver can see a pothole. But if they're not paying attention or if they're going too fast, they miss these sort of stop signs and alerts. So I think there's a chance for the moon sign to kind of focus in a little bit more and get into their power and their intuition. And things will improve and be a little bit easier, and you're going to see a lot of blessings if you do that, okay? So overall, the cards were actually pretty good when we look at sun, rising, and moon. Because if we just combine all the messages here, we see that you don't have to do everything when we looked at sun. And you're going to handle everything well. Just remember to delegate and to work smarter. For rising, slowing down just a little bit, investing in yourself, absolutely okay. In fact, it's probably beneficial. And then for moon, remembering to tap into your intuition, remembering that your thoughts are tidal, they're powerful, T-I-D-A-L, tidal forces. And when you elevate your thoughts, you pull in rather than push away. Each one of these carried with them a little bit of an opportunity for improvement, right? So delegate, slow down, and look around and improve your thought process a little bit. We can combine them all for all of Taurus, even if you're not sun, rising, or moon. You're just listening to this as well. It could be some other aspect of your chart. That's the overall energy here this month. And then, of course, going back into divine feminine, how are you nurturing yourself? How are you taking care of what it is that you need to take care of? What are you sort of letting go of in this month ahead as well? All right. So let's just check in and make sure that we hit on all of the pieces. We did the channel messages. We looked at the Celtic Cross plus the expanded forecast. Big idea, blessings and blocks, viewers and readers' choice, plus we looked at all of the different aspects of your chart. So yes, we're getting ready for the meditation next. All right, so for today's meditation, before we get into that, just a couple of quick notes. Please hit the like and subscribe. Definitely opt into the bell if you haven't done that before so that you get all notifications of future videos. Join me on social media as well. Remember again that I don't offer private readings and I don't use direct messages. If you want to show some support, you can do that as well. We're getting ready now for the meditation and the final card. Final card, of course, is your chance to think of one thing that you really want to see movement, change, or development with this month. And I'll take a look at it in just a moment. Together we're going to meditate and try to bring in this energy of movement and change, because if I were to pick two cards here, movement, change, transformation. We just worked with butterflies, so I'm going to try something different as I'm looking at these cards today. I'm looking at okay, so I really like the energy of stepping into the light. We see the light on this card. Even in this card, I think we can see a little bit of light that they're walking into. So let's imagine, and also in this one as well. So let's imagine as we get ready for the meditation that you're going to find yourself in a new day. The sun is just starting to rise. You're walking through a wooded area, and you see that there is this beautifully immense tree in front of you. You can imagine it's whatever type of tree is your favorite type, but it's bigger than everything else in the forest. It's a slightly different variety as well. And you notice that the sun is shining through the top branches, and it's creating these brilliant rays of light, something that you would see in a painting or in a movie. or in your mind's eye. So as you close your eyes, I want you to imagine that you're stepping into one of these spotlights, these rays of sunshine. And as you turn your face towards the sun above, you feel this warmth and energy wrapping around you like a blanket. You plant your feet firmly in the ground beneath you, and you reach your hands up for a moment, just like the tree branches. You're mimicking the tree in many ways, but it's also kind of like this big ace of cups. And in your mind and in your heart, you really open up to receiving guidance, love, support from the ground beneath you as well. And you feel for once in a long time here, that you are really open and ready for whatever comes into your path. And also remembering what the guides wanted me to relay to you at the very beginning. This is your moment to celebrate what makes you special, unique, yourself, and to embrace that, not to subvert it, not to push it down, not to hide it. So feel like there's this inner passion and fire that's kind of coming up from the lower chakras, from the first and second and the third. So you can see red, orange, and yellow energy starting to emerge from your core. And really focus on like the color of my shirt, this beautiful yellow color, the color of the sun, the color of that ray of light, and allow for this power to move all around you and to permeate each and every cell and each and every energy point until the yellow becomes bright white. And at this point, we're just going to focus on me playing the singing bowl here. And I want you to see your energy and power and light continue to increase. And as I'm playing the singing bowl, save your question. Think of a thought, what it is that you want to see in your life. Or an affirmative thought would be really good. I am doing this. I will create this. I am this. And allow for the resonance of the singing bowl to be like the exclamation point behind your thought. Focusing on the fact that you are capable, you are in the present tense of creating that which you desire to create. It's not some sort of intangible, sort of like distant dream. You are in the process of manufacturing, of manifesting, of seeing something to its fruition. So allow your heart to resonate with the sound that we just played here, the truth of your vision, the truth of yourself, and feel that light is a welcoming space, that you feel seen, that you feel supported, that you feel authentic. Take your hands in front of you, rub them together, place your left hand on your heart and your right hand on top of that, and continue to think, I am, I will, I can, I will continue to do whatever it is that you want to do. All right? Let me move this, and then we're going to take a look at your final card here in just a moment. So focus on the final question that you have for me, and I'll pull a card here in just a moment. All right, so hold that question in your mind. Let's take a look and see what the universe has to say about whatever you're seeking some clarity on in this moment in time. All right, so we have the horned god coming through on this one, the Emperor. I really love how we see the sort of forest right behind him on this particular card. Beautiful energy. It did come through in the reverse state. So for some of you, there could be a question of authority that's happening right now. So the card reversed is an interesting sort of message. It's saying good leaders don't have to say or prove that they're good leaders. They are comfortable and confident and clear, and they can kind of lead by example. So there may be an opportunity in your life where you don't necessarily want to step into a micromanagement situation. You want to let someone come to you. And if someone's challenging your power or authority, you simply need to make a correction there and say, no, this was the answer. This is what I asked for. Please do as I asked, and set the expectation for what will happen if they don't. So establishing power, saying what you need to do, not overreaching, not kind of getting in their business, because that's also annoying. So having just enough authority and not micromanaging to the point that you're maybe creating a codependency. If there's someone in your life, father or mother or boss or friend, whomever it might be, who comes in and kind of helicopters and is doing just what I said. Are you sure you did this? Is this done? What's going on here? Or they're simply coming in and saying, I don't want you to do that. And meanwhile, you're a completely coherent and sort of independent adult. You don't have to listen to this. So this is about knowing who you are, being willing to say no or to stand back from somebody's sort of pushiness. So reclaim your power, hold your boundaries firm, and as a leader, be strong and let people come to you. There's this interesting tug of war with power dynamics that are coming through with this. But you can do this, and you have support, and ultimately I feel like you're going to make this work out, okay? So I love the amazing antlers on this particular Emperor, because in a sort of more druid deck, this indicates it's almost like a big nimbus or a big light behind the head. So really focus on what you're led to do, and the more sort of authentic you are, the more that people are going to resonate with it. The more you believe it, the more confident you are, the better your leadership is going to be. So tune in those antlers and really pick up on what your higher self is saying here. And this reminds me of where we were in the forest, right? So this is you finding that power. Everything is starting to come into focus. As a yes, no, it's a yes, but don't sign away your authority. Don't give up any of your rights if you're doing something. For those of you that have like a intellectual property that you're trying to protect, make sure that you have some control or some connection to that so that you're not giving away everything. So you are the owner, definitely with the Emperor card. You want to maintain control. Fight for the control, fight for the ability to sort of step in and say what you want, when you want it, etc. Okay? And that, my friends, is your reading for this month. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope I answered all of your questions as well. We're going to get into the final portion here in just a moment. I just want to say thanks for everyone that did subscribe and did opt into notifications. I look forward to seeing you on social media. Thank you for the contributions, and in fact, that's what we're going to focus on right now. First and foremost, thanks to the folks today that let me know when someone was talking in the chat room. I try to keep this open, and for the most part, when we just have a group of like 200 or 300, it's fine with self-moderation. So thanks for everyone for making this a great room. It helps. Thanks to all the long-time contributors that I've had here, or members of the community, whether you are a member or not, or a subscriber or not, I'm happy to have you. If you're not a subscriber, do subscribe. However, it does help with the growth of the channel. All right, I'm going to say special thanks to those of you that decided to either join as a member or gave with a super sticker or super chat, and then we'll wrap up for today. All right, so let's see, new members. It looks like Bob Saget. Obviously, I'm just gonna say Bob. Thank you very much for joining. Melissa Logan, thank you as well. And I think, let's see, Kitty Cat Black. I think I welcomed them yesterday, but just in case I missed anyone, Amanda Stewart, Alina L, Laura Martin, Audiad, Jay Scully, and I think that's everyone from the last day. All right, so now let's say thanks to those who gave a super sticker or super chat. All right, pretty small list today so we can get through this. Aaron H., thank you for kicking things off today. I appreciate that. Let's see. Aratola, maybe it is. Thank you very much. Mary or Mari, thank you as well. Liz Morrison, thank you. And I hope everybody has a fantastic month ahead. For those of you in the States, happy 4th of July. Hope you're doing something fun today. And to everyone else, just thank you so much for spending some time with me today. All right. I will be back again on both Thursday and Friday. So I'll be looking at later this week, I'll be doing Gemini and then Cancer for Thursday and Friday. I already have the Gemini link up. I'll try to get Cancer up today, and then I'll be back on the weekend for the collective. And again, normally I post the whole schedule, but you'll notice even today's time shifted a little bit because I have to go and take a look at an apartment. So my schedule is going to be very erratic this month and may shift around a little bit. So definitely keep an eye out. It probably won't shift more than 15 minutes on a given day, but I just want to make sure that I can keep up with it. So I may just do a week at a time until everything's settled. In the meantime, lots of love and light, everyone. Have a great one. And thanks for your patience and your support as well. Good to have you here. And I will see you later this week. All right. Bye, guys. Thank you so much.